Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are covering Pricebook Advanced. This webinar will cover some Pricebook options, including no Pricebook. You don't have a Pricebook at all, and you would just like to build it as you go. How to use the QuickBooks item list, creating flat rate products with bundles. We'll also talk about some of the add-on subscriptions and go more into detail on Profit Rhino and Pricebook Digital. And then we'll go into updating your Pricebook strategies, invoice options, and job form settings. We'll have a live Q&A at the end where you'll be able to ask questions and get those answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's dive into WEX FSM. If you are using the price book in WEX FSM, that would be going to more applications, price book, my price book. Just as an overview, you can manually build out products and have those saved in your price book. And then when you are creating your invoices, you'll be able to pull those on to your price book. But let's say that you don't have time to build that out, but you are trying to, do work in the field and use your software. We do have a way that you can just build your price book as you go. Either you have 0 items in your price book, or you've built some out, but you're noticing you don't have everything in there that you need. There is a way to build your price book from the invoice level. And let's show you an example of that now. I'm on a job, so I'm here on this no AC job for my customer, Justin Hernandez. And you can click new to create a new invoice. And then when you're accessing your price book, you do it like normal. You click add item. Any items that you do have will be here in your system. You can search for those. You can look through your price book folders and pick them. But if you are noticing you just lack price book items and you need to add them as you're building the invoice, if you scroll down first you need to be in the price book folders section here and scroll down, you will see new product with the big plus button. This will allow me to add a new price book item as if I'm on the My Price Book page. When you're on the My Price Book page, this is normally where you're building out your products. You click Add Product, you select the product type. Let's say we need to add a part, fill out the info, and click Save. And then that now becomes part of your price book. But I'm working on this job. I realize when I am searching, I'll click Add Item. I'm looking around for the part I need, and it's not there. You can go to your price book folders, click on that plus button, and add the item. It will add the item to your invoice so you can charge your customer in the moment, but then it will also add that product into your price book, and you won't need to add it again because that will be added into your main pricing. Next time you need to use this item, you will just search for it, find it, and add it. And this works the same as it does when building on the My Price Book page. You will select single part only, labor, bundle, or discount. Let's select single part only and then fill out the information as needed. Now, another thing that you can do here, if I have items already in my price book that I would like to pull in and use those details to make a new item, you can do that. This says search for existing part. So let's say I want to pull in my general part number one, let's say. It will show you the source where it's coming from. So this is an item I already have in my price book, and I could select that. Let me see if I can find another example. So here's another example. You can also pull items in from your supplier catalogs. So if you're doing purchase orders, you have supplier catalog information in your system. I could select one of these. Let's say I will do this general purpose item. Once you select the item, it will then pull in the name, the product number, the image, the pricing, everything from that original item. And now that has saved me some time. I can now edit and update this as needed. Change the price. And then when I'm ready, I will, you do need to select where you would like this to be saved to. And the income account, this will sync to, and then you can click save. That will add this to the invoice, which is great for right now for this job, but then it also will add it to my price book. In this scenario, you're now building as you go. So each job you do, you're adding items in this way, you're building your price book. So that is one option that you can use for building pricing. We all know how much time it takes. We all know how many items there are to add. And when you're adding them manually in bulk, it's a lot to do. But with this method, you are able to just build it over time, can alleviate some of that time it takes to manually enter price book items. Another option that you can do is use custom line items, but that's a little different. The first way we just showed, when you add the item, it will save to the price book. Custom line items are really just for one-off moments where you need an item that's not in your price book, but it's not common. It's something that will only be for this job because custom line items do not add to the price book. And the way that custom line items will work, you will click Add Custom Line Item. And first, it just wants to double check that it's not already something in your system. So if you come here, let's say, duct tape product, it will search through your different price books and see, does that already exist? If it does exist, you just select that product and you didn't need to make a custom item. It's already in your price book. Otherwise, you will select Create Custom Line Item as entered. And now you are customizing this. Enter the name, description if needed, quantity. This product represents one quantity of this. Let's say it's a $100 item. Do you want to apply tax? And very important here, what income account do you want this to sync to in QuickBooks if you're syncing to QuickBooks? So let's do income job. And now hit add. Very easy to add a custom item. So for this first item here, that did add to the main price book. And then for this custom item, it did not add to the main price book. And you can pick and choose when you want to use these. I would recommend any item that you know you're going to use again in the future, save yourself some time, enter that, add that in the folders section with this plus button. If this is something that is just a one-time, very unique scenario for this customer, add that as a custom line item. But do beware. If you are, let's say, an office manager, you may have a full understanding of how this works. But if your team doesn't, you may run into issues with syncing if your technicians in the field are creating custom line items willy-nilly and not adding the income account. If this happens, if they're just creating these items, the income account is not required. I could make a ton of these products and it won't know where to sync the revenue for this item. Then, if you go to jobs, invoice list, and you select the not ready status, you may notice that there are a bunch of not ready statuses. Now, let's look. Maybe this one. Let's see. So if you see a not ready status on the invoice list, it just means that there's some piece of information that's missing that is preventing the invoice from syncing to QuickBooks. If I click on details, it will show me what it's looking for. Now, for this one, this is needing a tax group. Here we go, we go. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. Here's an example of this happening. We have parts that have been added, but no income account selected. System doesn't know where to send it. It is an easy fix. You just come in here, tell it, where you want this to go. It will update the income account and you click save. That will then go into a ready state and it will sync over. But you don't want to have to keep doing this. So you do need to communicate with your team on how you would like them to use the custom line items. If you know that's something that you want your technicians to do, just let them know when they're adding it that they will need to select the income account if you're syncing to QuickBooks. Now, if we go to settings, user management, users, let's click on Dustin Bailey here. And then we're going to permissions. So this is my technician, Dustin. Dustin's going to log in. He's creating invoices out in the field. Maybe I don't want Dustin to be making custom line items. I want Dustin to use the pricing in our price book because that's our pricing. And I don't want him to dictate what pricing he wants to charge. I only want him to use our price book. You can set this permission here. It says create custom line items. And if you set this to no, the option for creating a custom line item will no longer be available for this user. Now, maybe you have someone on your team that's been with you since the beginning of the company. You want them to have access, and trust that they're going to know how to use the custom line items responsibly. But you have someone new who came in, maybe you want to restrict that, and you can just toggle that on and off from here. And then some of these others you may be interested in turning on or off. Edit prices and tax on invoices and proposal that relates to the price book. If this is on, then that technician can just change the pricing to whatever they need to. And maybe for your company, that's great. Like you allow and encourage your team to price in the moment because they have the expertise and you trust them. If you want to restrict this just to keep things a little more controlled, a little more managed, you would set this to off. Same for select or change tax groups as well. So going back, just to reiterate, one option for using the price book is creating items in the moment, building your price book as you go with the add item, price book folders, add new product button. Or create custom items in the moment for one-off scenarios by clicking add custom line item, searching if you already have it, and then creating new if you do not have it. And when you are creating items, either new items from the price book or from the invoice, you will, oh, I just want to show you. Look here. Oh, sorry. Hit add item, price book folders. You are using the exact same modal in both places. One more tip for creating your items, you do have the option to serialize your price book items. And what that means, if I click on additional details, when you're adding a part, like a single part only to the price book, you can turn on serialization. If I do this, what I'm saying is that this part, when I'm selling it, will have a serial number per customer. Like the actual unit that I'm looking at will have a serial number. And I want to document that serial number on the invoice. If serialize is turned off, there will not be a field to add a serial number. You could put it in the notes, but there's no dedicated field for that. If I turn serialize on, when I add this item to the invoice, it will populate a field that I will just fill out and put the serial number. I'll look at the physical unit in my hand and add that. So that is an option. If you deal with a lot of parts that have serial numbers, you'll want to turn serialize on when building that product in the price book. Next, let's take a look at the QuickBooks item list. For some of my customers, they've been using QuickBooks for many, many years, and you have a nice big catalog of pricing. It's exactly the pricing that you know you like to charge, and you can use that as long as you have the sync turned on and you're officially syncing with QuickBooks. When you click Add Item on an invoice or a proposal, you have the QuickBooks item list available here. But I do want to talk about the differences. So the QuickBooks item list does not have a centralized home like the price book, the WEX FSM price book. If I'm on, oh, somebody is joining right now. If I go to more applications, price book, my price book, I have a space. This is like a home page, and I can see my folders. I can come in. I can view what items are in my price book. There's a dedicated space. The QuickBooks item list does not have a dedicated space in WEX FSM. That would be controlled, managed, organized in QuickBooks. But the QuickBooks item list is a two-way sync item. So if I go into my QuickBooks, I make some edits to pricing, that will then sync up to WEX FSM. And the next time I go to select an item from this list, it will have the updated pricing. Now, there's pros and cons to this. The benefit of using the item list is you already have your items. You may even know, or maybe your technicians know by heart what they need to search. So you can use the search to search through items, but there's no folders. So that is then a benefit of the WEX FSM price book is that you have the ability to have more control. You can organize things into folders. If you have, let's say that after a while, you're like, you know what, I really do wish that I had folders and I would like to start using the WEX FSM integrated price book and phase out using my QuickBooks item list. When you are building items, so let's go to more applications, price book, my price book. You'll click add product. And actually, I'm just going to copy something from my other screen here. Let's select a single part only. I know I have items in my QuickBooks item list that I use, but I would like to bring that in and use that item in my WEX FSM price book so I can then have the benefits of that. I can organize it, I can put it in a category, I know what folder it's going to be in, I can update the pricing, etc. Use the search for existing part, and let's say that I'm looking for a fan motor. I know it's in my QuickBooks item list. And if you notice right here, fan motor, all parts, the source is QuickBooks item list. Select that, and then all the information from your item list will bring over. So the more detailed your QuickBooks item list is, the more information will show up here. And now I'm able to create new Pricebook items in WEX FSM using those QuickBooks item lists as sort of a template. Fill out the rest of the information. You do need to tell it where you would like it to save, what folder, the income account that it will sync to if you're syncing to QuickBooks. You want to enter in the cost. Just a pro tip here, cost, if this is empty, your profit and loss reporting will be skewed. It most like, it's not going to have the cost uh, layer in the equation for profit and loss. So I do highly recommend when you are building out your price book items that you put a cost in here. This is saying, how much does it cost you to purchase this item? It will apply the markup, and then you have your standard price for your customer. When you add items from the price book to your invoice, the customer pays the invoice. Each job will be able to track how much it cost you and then how much the customer paid. It does the math for you and puts out your profit per job. And then when you're looking at your reporting, you can actually pull up and look at your profit and loss reports. And so it is important that you enter in costs into here. Okay. And so that is using the QuickBooks item list. Let's now look at creating flat rate items manually in your system. We're already here, but to get here, you would go to More Applications, Price Book, My Price Book. If you use flat rate pricing, you're going to need, your time and materials, your parts, your labor together in one bundled item. You can use the bundle feature here. Click Add Product. Select your product type. We would want to select a product multi-item group. And then you can either search through the pages here, or you can type in what you're looking for. Let's say we just need a general part. Select all of your parts. It will allow you to search and find different things, and it will maintain your selections. But that way you know you have everything added. And then you select your labor. And once you have those selected, you'll hit Create Product Bundle. And maybe this is a way you will put systems together. You can add all the different parts, you can put the labor, and then now you create a bunch of bundles for different systems that you sell. Then when you go in and look, you will see all of the bundles. I made a bundles folder, so I can see all of my bundles here. But maybe you are bundling them per system. So you would have bundles like in an installs folder. And then each system that you sell would be a bundle that includes multiple different components and labor together. But you can build out your own flat rate pricing using bundles very easily in the WEX FSM price book. That does take time. So, with a lot of this that we're talking about, it does take time. You need to go in, add things manually, And we understand time is money. So if you don't have a ton of time, things are super busy, your price book may not get built out as fast as you want it to. As a result, we do have some add-on subscriptions that are available that can help you. And I'm just going to go over some of those options now and just see if you are either using these or if you are interested, I'll show you where you can learn more. We're going to look first at Profit Rhino flat rate. So first, let's go to settings, subscriptions. Ooh, there we go. When you're on the subscriptions page, you want to click to additional products. And then right here, we have flat rate price book from Profit Rhino. So, you have the option. If you want to build out your flat rate pricing in WEX FSM, you absolutely can do that. That's included in your normal subscription. It just takes time to do. You can bypass all of that manual entry by getting the Profit Rhino flat rate price book. From here, there is a red plus button if you haven't signed up already. This account we're in already has it, so there's a green check. But basically, Profit Rhino is powered by Callahan Roach. They know the industry, they know pricing, and it's based on your region. So whatever area you are selling in, they have a pulse on that pricing. And if you sign up for this, this will then put a flat rate price book in your system. You will be able to go to more applications, price book, flat rate price book to view and even update certain aspects of what is added here. Let's say you run an HVAC company that uses flat rate pricing. You're just going to have your folders, your subfolders, all made for you. It comes in with names, model numbers, serial numbers, pricing for commercial versus residential. And it is true flat rate pricing. So it's going to have the parts and labor included together. And you have customization, more customization than you do with the QuickBooks item list, because it does have a dedicated space here. You can click edit details. Maybe you get this in your system and you see, this pricing is a little off. This pricing is either a little too low or a little too high than what I actually charge every day. You can come in and control your cost and update the cost, and then that will update the pricing and put it a little closer to what you are actually charging. You can also, let's go let's go back. When you're on an invoice, oh, I thought we had new, yeah, there we go. It will just show up here. And so you sign up for Profit Rhino, that gets added to your system. Your technician goes out on a job and now has a full price list that they can pull from. You can search for items by just typing in exactly what you're looking for, or use the flat rate folders to then search through the different price books. Something else that's nice about this is there are different price books that they offer, and you can either select all or just select the ones that pertain to you. In this account, we have the electrical price book, the general, the HVAC, and the plumbing selected. If I don't do plumbing, I can just uncheck that in the settings and it will remove that. And I will only have, maybe I do HVAC and electrical and that's what I need. So that can save you a ton of time. It is instant, once you sign up and that is added into your system, you now just have a full price book for flat rate pricing in your system. And if you are interested in signing up for that, you go to Settings, Subscriptions, Additional Products tab, and Flat Rate Price Book with Profit Rhino. If you're on the fence, you're like, this sounds great in theory, but I'd like to learn a little more, you can always just reach out to customer care from the help center and let them know, like, hey, if I could have a sales member do a demo for me, that would be great. And then you'll actually work with a live agent to see if that works for your business. Next, another option that is available is called Pricebook Digital. And Pricebook Digital, I actually have let me show you this. For Pricebook Digital, this is something that is really just available if you know about it. It is something newer that we have as an offering. And this may be exactly what you're looking for. Click into the Help Center, and then you will just search for Pricebook Digital. And you're looking for this article here, Enhanced Pricebooks Powered by Pricebook Digital. From here, this article, and this is a pro tip for just using our knowledge base. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can click Open in Help Center, and that will open it in its own web page. You can use the URL to send to other people, and you can even bookmark these. And this is for any article in our knowledge base. So you could just make a bookmark with all of your favorite training tools and put those in there. But, what is Enhanced Pricebooks powered by Pricebook Digital? This is going to, and I mean, you can use this to learn more. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but what this does, it will add price books based on your supplier that you purchase items from. So typically, you are selling products, then you have to order those products from your supplier. We are partnering with the suppliers to enter a price book that only includes the items you are purchasing. And so this can be another big time saver if you don't want to manually create your price book. It will enter a full suite of price book items with the pricing that you actually use when purchasing from your supplier. And when you go to, and it includes it as the WEX FSM price book. So if I go to more applications, price book, my price book, you will be able to see, and I think I have Wilson Supply in here at the bottom. You will see a folder per supplier. So maybe you purchase from many different suppliers. You can have a price book per supplier added into your system. And then when you go into that, it will include everything that you already purchased from them with the pricing. And when prices change from that supplier, you don't have to do anything. It's automatically updated in your system, so you always know that you're charging the correct market price. It also, another feature of this is it also will add proposal templates and proposal comparison templates in your system based on the systems that you sell personally at your company. To show you an example of this, once you sign up for Pricebook Digital, you get the price book put in and you get your templates put in. You'll go to search for customers and you'll search for the word template. And based on the different suppliers that you have, you will have a customer page dedicated to each supplier. And if we go to, let's say, our Wilson Supply templates, I purchase items from Wilson Supply, you'll have jobs. And in these jobs will be copyable templates already built out with images, the actual pricing that you are getting from your supplier. And just showing an example here, if I click into this split do fuel 90%, you'll have a full set of different uh, system assemblages, the pricing. You can favorite them, make them very easy to copy. And if I click copy, let's say I'm helping a new customer, I can save a ton of time because these templates have already been provided. I would be able to see if I click favorites. Here's all my templates. It will show you the customer name, will say the supplier that you're pulling from. And as long as you're favoriting the ones you know you want to copy, uh, they're right here. So you would just click. And now I didn't have to sit in the truck and spend time building out, an entire proposal from scratch. It already is pre-included with the price, the information, and what I need. And this is ready to go. If you are interested in that, you can just search for enhanced price books. You could also type in price book digital. This article is helpful and you'll just reach out to customer care. We currently don't have this in our subscriptions section. This is a very new feature that we have, but if you're interested, if you think this would save you a bunch of time and a value add for you, you can just reach out to customer care and they will help you get that set up. Okay. So this whole first section is just going through different price book options that you can use. No price book, you want to build as you go. Do that on your proposals and invoices where, we talked about. You want to use your QuickBooks item list, and you already have that set in your QuickBooks, use that. If you want to build out flat rate pricing manually in your price book, you can do that from the More Applications price book, My Price Book page, and select the bundle option. And then we have some add-on services that you can sign up for, which would be Profit Right Now and Price Book Digital. Next, let's take a look at updating your price book strategies, your pricing defaults. We will go to More Applications, Price Book, Pricing Defaults. Now, we did cover this in our basics session, so I'm not going to go super into this, but just be aware that you have modifiers here that you can add. Each of these modifiers will either add a percentage discount or add a percentage increase based on what you need. Some other scenarios. So we've got a friends and family discount, a military discount, and then an upcharge for after hours here. Some other ways that you can use this, maybe you on really large projects as part of your terms and conditions, if they're going to pay with a credit or debit card, you are going to make them, the customer, pay for the processing fee. When you process credit or debit cards through WEX FSM, there is a processing fee. And, if it's a really big job, you're going to want to have the customer pay for that. Currently there's no like automatic way to add that. If you create an invoice and you charge, you will pay for the processing fee and it won't add anything extra to the invoice. However, if you wanted to, you could put something in here. Let's click edit. You could make this like card payment and then maybe make this add 3%. And this could just be one of your modifiers. So if you are doing a job up front, you already know like they're going to pay with card, put this as card payment. And then when you create your invoice, it will just increase it by the percentage you put here, then including that card payment percentage on the invoice before you send it to the customer. So that's just one use case. Some of my customers do it this way. You don't have to do it, at all. But that is just another tip, another option that you can do with your pricing strategies. And that's just one example. If you can think of another way to either add a percentage discount or an add-on, you know, be creative. Use this how you think it would best benefit you. Okay. And we have two more topics that we'll go through quickly before we get into our Q&A. One is just invoice options and then job form settings. So invoice options, if we go to our general service call here, give me a second. There we go. I'm on an invoice. And if you don't know this already, there's a section up top here called pricing settings. And this is where you can update the pricing strategy. So we just talked about that. If I click here, maybe it starts as standard price and you would like to give them a discount on this invoice. You just select and choose friends and family and hit update. Then when I add items, it will take on the friends and family discount. Maybe this is an invoice I'm charging someone for after hours service that I did. I would select after hours and then add the items. You can also choose to hide or show the maintenance plan pricing, line item quantities and prices, and line item unit prices. Let's just see a quick example of this. I'm going to click add item and let's just add a few items here. If you notice, it says savings. That is for the maintenance plan savings. Oh, actually, it might be from. Okay, yeah. So it's the maintenance plan savings. We could double check that here. Select pricing strategy. And if I want to hide the maintenance plan savings, I want to hide line item amounts and quantities and unit prices. I can hit update. You're still going to see them in build mode. So I have had this question before, I changed it. Why is it still here? Unit price right here. In the build mode, you still need to know this information, but when you go to present, that info goes away. So this is just another option. Maybe I want them to see like all the different steps and things we've done, but I don't necessarily need them to see the quantity and the individual pricing. And now this is just showing here are the services we did, and here's the price you're paying today. And again, that is in present mode. That's what the customer will see. And you control that right here from pricing settings. A pro tip, though, very important to know, the maintenance plan pricing. If you hide the pricing, it does not get rid of the discount. And I'm going to say this again because this could mess you up. Maintenance plan pricing. Let's show it. So this savings that's happening is because these items, this fan motor, this Freon in the price book has the discount turned on. This AC filter has the discount turned off. So whether the discount applies or doesn't apply is set from the price book level. So you would want to make sure that you're going into my price book and turning off the maintenance plan pricing per item. The savings here is just a visual. This is showing that the savings is here. If you wanted to turn that off, you can toggle this off visually, but the savings is still going to apply because it's happening in the background. It's being decided from the price book level. So if you're going to turn the savings off, I would recommend going in and actually turning the savings off on the items themselves. So that is using the pricing settings section. And then the final thing we're going to talk about before we get into our Q&A is job preferences. We just went over, you can show or hide a lot of these options here. individually per invoice or proposal, and you can update them in the moment. But if you're, it's like, I have to come in here and change this every single time and it's getting annoying. You can just set the defaults for whether you want these to show or not when the customer looks at it. To do this, you will go to Settings, Jobs, Job Preferences. And then here you can set the defaults. So if I create a new invoice, it will either show or not show these items. Do I want the customer to see the location name, the model number, unit prices, maintenance plan savings, billing address, product number, line item amounts, and quantities? Set those here. If you toggle them off, it won't show by default, but you can always go back in, go to pricing settings, and update them from here. Okay, so there you go. There's a little more deep dive into using the price book in WEX FSM, some other options that you have available to you, and we're going to go to our Q&A now. Before we do that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Price Book Advanced.